Hey folks, it's Bill Swift from Swift Canoe and Kayak. We're here in the winter in our Gravenhurst store with George and Kathy Burgess.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for having us.
And you guys have come all the way from New Jersey to pick up a beautiful vessel.
We sure did. We sure did. And I'm in awe, Bill. I'm in awe.
So you are getting a boat that has the beautiful raven finish where it starts out with a dark blue and then there's more translucent colors going down. The carbon finish. Wow.
Unbelievable. I knew it was going to be a beauty, but seeing it in person is, it's shocking. I can't believe this is happening.
All right. Well, why don't we sit down and chat about it?
Sure. Let's do it. Let's do it.
George, it's great to have someone up here that I feel that you're as passionate about paddling as I am. And I want you to tell the folks a little bit about yourself and how canoeing's been such a big part of your life.
Sure. I'd be happy to. And also thanks for having me and thank you for, all the hospitality. I don't have your pedigree, but I am passionate. I'm passionate about boats. I spend a lot of time paddling them. I work on them. And I think I found the perfect one, which is why I'm here.
Nice.
The perfect boat for me.
Now, let's talk about where you're from and what you do in life, your real life.
Sure. I'm a regular guy. And, so this is very shocking to be sitting here with you in a seat that David Yost, you did an interview with. I'm a different level guy, but I do love canoes. So I'm George Burgess from Hazlet, New Jersey, high school English teacher, union iron worker in the summer. Been married about 20 years. Kathy's here. So is our son, Miles, who maybe you'll see him later. Canoe enthusiast, collector, and I would say, passionate paddler.
Now, I know from talking to you and watching some Facebooks and so on, George, you have an incredible desire to get boats. And over the years, tell the folks how many boats, how many canoes, if you happen to get.
Sure. So there's 34 in the yard right now. I'd say it's funny because I didn't grow up in a paddling household. My early start was very recreational. And I didn't get serious till much later in life. But when I did, it's just been nonstop ever since. So yeah, 34 canoes. I would say over, let's just give you the last 5 years, 6 years. There's had to be, 200, 300 boats come and go. And I'm constantly trying to create I'm the right boat for the right water kind of guy, not an all purpose. I like a boat where it's meant to be. So I like to have a big collection. And that's just a fun game to play, like putting together the perfect quiver of boats.
What I really like about a lot of the posts that you guys do, yourself and you have some friends, is I love the older boats. I'm 60 years old now. I've been doing this for 50 years, and I love seeing the old boats. And seems you have a real penchant for the older boats, and I'm so into that. You really love the old boats.
I do. I really do. It's a great way to kind of learn and understand what designers were thinking is picking up some of these older boats that you can get relatively cheap, and it's a lot of fun working on them, paddling them, and it's kind of helped me fine tune my paddling and also my paddling preferences. Paddling a lot of different boats. I don't think guys make fun of me because they, every boat I ever get in, I fall in love with, so I appreciate, the little things about each canoe, that I come across. And it's tough for me to get rid of them, which is why I have 34 in the yard. But sometimes you have to, but that just makes room for another boat, to play around with. So I'm into it.
Now, what I really like about where you live right now, also in the post you do, let's tell the folks where you live and just the setup you have where you can grab a boat and you can walk down to a dock and go paddling.
I am very fortunate, okay? People don't think New Jersey, the paddler's paradise. People don't think that, but if you really think about it, we have the Delaware River on the west, the entire border. The eastern border is, 130 miles of coastal, the Atlantic Ocean, a lot of marshes and creeks, and some really, great rivers and lakes in between. So, but in my yard, I have tidal creek access to the Raritan Bay, which is just at Central Jersey, north of, say, Sandy Hook, which is where the Raritan Bay turns into the Atlantic Ocean. So it's relatively calm. Henry Hudson came through there and wintered there. So it's a great place, and I could get there right from my yard if the tide is in. And sometimes I just get a little muddy if the tide is out. Go anyway. But,
So it's a dream, folks. George can, when he gets the knack, he can literally just walk out his door with a paddle and life jacket, and Miles always follows him.
he sure does, yeah.
Go down to the water, and you can choose what boat, what you feel like paddling that day, and just go right out.
That's a big part, and we're going to get to this boat, I would imagine, but that's a big part of why I'm here, because you cannot sneak by Miles if he's got it in his mind to go paddling. And if Kathy's out, that's his second favorite thing to do is paddle with me. He'll jump right in the boat. But I have a few boats I just don't feel, I'm not an expert paddler. There's a couple boats I just don't feel as safe in the open bay with him. So sometimes I have to sneak out without him, but he hates that. Even if I hide the paddle in the vest, he senses when I'm going to paddle. And he's with me all the time.
He can feel your energy.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm calming. I'm relaxing, and
You have the
he picks up that
paddling
vibe.
aura going on.
Yeah, maybe. He's picking up on something for sure.
Now, one of the things that I really picked up on is that you seem to have a real penchant for the old Sawyer canoes. And,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so, folks, everyone knows, we were originally the Canadian franchise for Sawyer Canoe, manufactured their boats for about 10 years. From 84 to roughly about 95, we probably made 3,000 of them. And I love it every now and then when George, I see these posts where you pick up some of the old Sawyers. So why don't you tell the folks about the Sawyers and
Sure,
what
absolutely.
they've meant to you?
I'll put you at the beginning of and I would call it a love affair, to be honest, in terms of Sawyer. It started when I went to pick up a canoe from a really big collector in Wisconsin. And we did a little interview, and I said, hey, Carl, what if you had all these boats in the rafters, boats everywhere. If you had one boat, what would it be? And he said, to paddle. I said, yeah, to paddle. He said, Sawyer Cruiser. And so that's kind of where it got on my radar. But what I came across first was a Champion, and we were doing a little more tandem. But I love both those boats so much for their stability. They're easy to work on. The glide on both of those boats, the efficiency, that combo. And it just even gets better when you get into the world of solos. That's just the beginning. I love those tandems. A couple of their,
They are beautiful paddling boats. He's talking about the Champion is an 18.5-foot boat that was used often for marathon canoe racing. The Cruiser George is referring to as a 17-foot 9-inch boat that we built for a while in Canada that is just one of the most efficient light touring boats I've ever been in. Incredible boat.
Yeah, it amazes me every time I get in them, to be so efficient and also, but that's the tandem side. The story really, and I have a bunch of others, so I have Champions. And anytime I see one, even if I have 4, I'll pick up, somebody's selling them, I'll pick it up. Because someday somebody's going to say, let me try, you keep talking about it, and I'm going to put them in it, But where things really changed was when I came across a DY Special. Okay, that's when things changed for me. My whole perspective and approach to my collection and paddling kind of changed. I don't know if I'm talking too much, but if you want
No, this is perfect. Let me just interject quickly. So the DY Special is a 16-foot 8-inch solo canoe that David Yost, DY, designed. Harry Roberts was the marketing sales director at Sawyer Canoe at the time, and he saw the canoe in Rochester, the plug that DY had done, and he just took the plug without even asking DY,
Yeah.
and he put the boat in production.
Yeah,
And
different era.
asked DY
Yes, yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible boat. It's got a V bottom. It's a really comfortable, fun solo boat.
It sure is. It sure is. One of the challenges of I'm blessed to be where I am, but I think people often talk about places to paddle in terms of lakes and rivers, but coastal paddling is kind of its own animal because half the time you're going against the tide, half of the trip. And a lot of boats really slow down and kind of dog out, when you're going,
You get
against
in the slack
tide.
water too.
Yeah. But the DY Special is a boat that has like the speed that just is fun and the stability for the bay. So I mean, it's a boat unlike I have other similar length boats, premium boats that I'm just not as comfortable with miles in the open bay, and that was a boat that you know I could do easily. And so I'm going further. I once remember you saying, more beavers. I'm getting further down the coast and more paddling, seeing more things, doing more things because of the efficiency, but also in a very kind of stable and comfortable, fun boat.
Yeah, you're not a racer. You're not trying to go fast, but
No.
having a boat that when you paddle accelerates and glides
Yeah, I do
allows you
like
to
the
cover more
efficiency,
ground.
especially in the tidal waters.
Yeah. So in DY, David Yost is a master at seaworthiness.
Yeah.
The rounded chine areas, the rocker, the way he carries the roundness way up the sides. All David Yost boats are known for being extremely comfortable in adverse conditions.
It really is amazing, from my perspective, how one boat with similar specs could be such a different feeling than another. And that's kind of where I fell in love. And to me, it was really the perfect boat for where I do 85% of my paddling. If I had two things, there were only two things from, in my mind, keeping it from being like the perfect boat ever, the only boat I ever need. And that would be, I paddled it in Racket Lake, and then when I went into Brown's Track Inlet, which is very twisty, and again, I'll own the paddling skill side of it, but it was a little tough to turn. It's a straight, hard tracking boat.
It's really windy, twisty. The V-bottom boats are very straight tracking too.
So I did find that in Brown's Track that it was a little bit of work, but I'm still in love with it. And I also felt like, my model's fiberglass, not terribly heavy, but it didn't really have the tripping load, say for like a St. Regis week. Other than that, it was to me one of the better boats. And I would also say too, everyone I know that paddles a Shockwave is just like blown away instantly when they get in it. That combo of speed and efficiency and stability.
So let's tell the folks then that after the DY Special, DY went back to Sawyer and he said, let me improve the DY Special. And he designed the Shockwave, which same length, same width, similar hull shape without the V bottom, little bit different, very straight tracking like the DY Special. It's an incredible boat.
Yeah, I would, if anyone ever comes across one, it's a must pick up. It's an absolute, you have to pick it up if you ever come across one. They're legendary. They're legendary.
And then from there, you researched it, and why don't you tell the folks how you ended up at Swift and looking at the 16.8 cruiser? So
I watch all the social media here. I enjoy that if I'm not paddling or working on a boat, especially in the winter. Like what you're doing now. It's always something new and beautiful. So I'm constantly following a lot of your stuff, but some of the older stuff, where you talk about things 5 years ago, you might not see at the top. But I dig deep into it, and I came across a video, where it was great. You really got into like paddling strokes and technique, and I just enjoy your videos. But in this particular one, you were kind of explaining, bringing, the Cruiser 16.8 to market. Who's it geared for? Where did it start? And sure enough, the few things that I just talked about, the minor tweaks that I felt it was lacking, you adjusted. So now we have, same legendary designer, 21st century technology, all this great new tech, and what I think is like the perfect hull for me, with some rocker, and with a greater, carrying capacity. So I knew. I'm not a rich guy. I don't buy, new boats often. I have a lot of boats, but, I buy them on the cheap and fix them and love it. But a boat that's perfectly suited for me, I had to go for it. I had to do it. That's the moment, too. I was in St. Regis doing some double carrying, and I said, I'm getting a little old for this. Is more hiking than paddling. Back into trail, drop the boat, get the gear. I want to be on the water. I need a boat that I could trip in, but also cruise in because I am more of a cruiser.
So that, just so all the folks know, so the Cruiser 16.8 is a Sawyer Shockwave. It's about half an inch deeper, bubble carried a little bit higher up the side with an inch of rocker in the front. Very similar shape to the Shockwave, a little bit more seaworthy, a little bit easier to maneuver in windy, twisty creeks and so on.
Yeah.
And George, you absolutely landed on an absolutely beautiful boat. You decided on the specialty finish, the Raven finish.
Yeah.
You contacted us and looked through our website and so on.
Yeah, I looked at all, and there's a lot of different directions. I mean, this might be in my future. Bill, it might be in my future. If you want me to be honest, how could it not be? Your boat is stunning. I thought about it, but then there's also too the costs and finish. But what attracted me to the Raven finish, it just seemed to go great with your the Carbon Tech package. And then it's like you got to go with the yoke. I mean, it's just tied together so nicely. It really kind of sleek, beautiful, uniform look in a finish that's very original, and I would also say very affordable. That's an affordable specialty finish, and it's stunning.
So one of the things that we've really strived to do over the years, George, is that we love to paddle. We're not in this. This isn't like a let's see how much money we can maximize profits or anything. We're making a living. We're doing what we love, but this boat's been kind of my baby. I went back to DY and said, we need a more seaworthy Shockwave. My buddy Terry Kent uses it in the 90-mile race in the Adirondacks every year.
I've seen him. Yeah.
And it's pretty easy for him to win. He's a former Olympic athlete, but he's just a beast. He can keep up with the epic kayaks and surf skis, drafting them with this boat. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's good to hear because I see a bunch of them in the bay,
So we did, the whole way we did this with the seat system on it. Why don't we take a look at this where it's got the seat that slides, not when you paddle. When you put weight on it, it stays still. Really comfortable bucket seat. It's got the adjustable foot brace on it, and the foot brace slides with the seat.
A lot of people are talking about this, this feature, because we've all kind of been there. You want to make some kind of adjustment, because of wind or whatever, or load, and it can be tricky. A lot of these configurations are tough. This is on the go, and that's safe because usually when you're trying to adjust, it's because there's some wind, so easy, so kind of well thought out. I can't wait to get it on the water.
Now, so you envision yourself paddling right outside your front door with this boat, right out in the bay. And where else do you think you would take a boat like this?
Okay, so certainly the bay, but I feel like I could take this down the Delaware, no problem. I want to get up to the Adirondacks. That's my treat. I'm still working summers, Bill, but it's not going to be forever. And as a teacher, I'm going to have these 10 weeks off. So another year or two, and then I'm going to have 10 weeks off. Imagine this boat having 10 weeks off and a roof rack, what you could do.
Algonquin.
I'll be back, yeah.
Killarney,
yeah.
Temagami.
Yeah, I don't know, not imagine. You're living it. You live right here. But I can't do that on a holiday weekend. But soon I will be able to. And so this boat's going to see a lot of the country. It's going to see a lot of the country, in addition to being my kind of daily go-to. Right on the dock, hop in, it'll be nice.
So why don't we show Miles the boat and see if Miles likes it?
Yeah, he's finicky. He's been in a lot of great boats, but I think he's going to love it.
All right, let's do it. So guys, it looks like it's a Miles approved canoe.
Absolutely,
That's a happy puppy. Happy pup.
So George, you were telling me when you grab your paddle and life jacket, he knows.
He does. Even if I hide it, he knows. But he really does enjoy it. And, he'll move around a little bit, but he's pretty well behaved. I think he likes to be on the water. We all do. So there's going to be some good, father-son time in this one.
Nice.
It also looks like...
Yeah, Kathy, tell us. How's it feel?
So it's amazing. I've never done it solo. So but I am actually
Could
eager
you see
to
yourself
try.
in one?
Absolutely, especially a boat like this.
Yeah, it's
I like the
beautiful.
fact that it's. I don't like when they rock and they skinny, and
Yeah.
I just don't like the rocking part. But it's perfect.
I think Miles is a little bit of a mummy son.
Yeah.
Just a little tiny notch. Yeah, I think he does, but he does like his dad as much as he likes me. I hope.
So you are right though. This is a very stable boat and very efficient, and it comes in different sizes. But I think it looks great. And what did you think of the color that George chose?
Oh, it was amazing when he first showed that to me. The fact how it was changing when you shine the light, it's just it's amazing. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like that. Usually you see a boat that's just one color and it's dull and it's a gray or black or but this one it's just like a rainbow.
If I may, Bill, for all the husbands out there, I think a good technique, to get green lighted on a dream boat purchase is to pick your wife's favorite color. And
That's
Kathy's
right.
happens to be
That's
blue.
yes.
Yes,
So
we
it's
can
really
see.
you want to talk about why the Raven finished it, that's a factor. That's a big factor. Wife's favorite color.
Nice.
Yeah, well, yes. That's amazing.
So, guys, I really appreciate you coming all the way up here. You're getting a beautiful boat, and I love that I've met people that love paddling as much as I have, and I think we're going to be friends for a long time.
Yeah, we'll be back up. Thanks for all your hospitality,
for
and thank you
having
for
us.
bringing
All
this
right.
boat,
And for
into
your-
the next, century.
Yes.
It's one that shouldn't disappear. So thank you for that.
And there's more to come.
Yeah.
So how about, guys,
Yes.
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.